we shall use various methods to calculate the sum of prices of all the records in the items table. We will also take note of the times taken. Usually the best results are obtained if tracking is disabled for read-only queries and if select is limited to just the columns needed, and if possible by allowing the calculations to take place in the database. But keep in mind that each query has its own circumstances, so never assume results. Test, test and test is the best way to determine the optimal query in each case. Before I take up my exercises, it is important to know that I shall use various methods for running a small query just once. But this is not the correct way of determining the performance of a query. A more sophisticated library such as benchmark.net is a better option for measuring performance because it can provide statistical indicators such as mean, standard deviation, median, etc. I am only demonstrating the various possibilities of running a simple sum calculation. The methods are arranged in the increasing order of recommendation, but don't take these as if these are final results. I am just demonstrating that there are various possibilities of running a query and some methods might be better suited than others. In our first method, we shall run a select query and obtain all the columns, even the unnecessary columns also. So this will be a select star type of query. We shall add an anchor link to the home page and bind it to a click event handler. You can obtain the completed project from the attached downloads. I will show the query that we shall run, then you can check the downloads for the whole project. First, this query obtains all the items. After that, a for each loop is run to add the price. Run the project to open the home page and click the sum after select star anchor to allow the query to complete. Take note of the time taken by this query. In my example, it takes about 26 milliseconds, but it will be different in different computers. And in fact, this is not the right way of doing it also. I am just doing it for the sake of it, so that we just have a simple idea. Next, let's take method 2, no tracking. Tracking can be disabled for read-only scenarios, and it can lead to an improvement also, because we do not need tracking for read-only scenarios. Tracking is basically for tracking the updates, etc., or the changes in the records. But when you are simply selecting a query, then there is no need to track it. Let us now run this query. We have used the as no tracking method to disable the overhead due to tracking. Open the home page and click the sum no tracking anchor and examine the logs. The query now takes 3 milliseconds, which is better than the time in the previous method. Usually, selection of a no tracking will always give you some improvement in the performance. So this you can take note of. Another improvement of performance is possible. Next, let us restrict the selection to just the price column. And this is the query that we shall execute. We have used the select method to extract only the price column from the database. Open the home page and click the sum after select price, this anchor, and examine the logs. The query now takes even lesser, which is better than the previous time. This is expected because taking all the columns is definitely performance inhibitive. It is better to take just the required columns as we have done now, and you will see an improvement in query. And it is even better to postpone the database operations to the database. Let them take place in the database. Database operations proceed most efficiently if they take place in the database. For example, a sum query in the database might be better instead of first querying all the records and then using a loop to add them up. Consider this query where sum async is used to perform the sum totaling in the database. You can run this query and measure the time. I'll close it right now. Thank you.